What's up, vinyl community? It's your boy Chris coming at you live as always from the man cave. I'm going to talk a little fast in this one right here because there's a lot of stuff to go to. Welcome everybody to my Tunes Tag 2022 Jazz Vinyl Tag. I did one last year, way more successful than I could have ever hoped. When I put it together, I thought maybe 4 or 5 of like my best friends in the vinyl community would probably do one, probably get 700-800 views, and then it would probably just go away. But that's not the response I got at all. It's one of my most popular videos of all time. I think I got 30 plus video responses from it, so that was great. Again, I had so much fun watching all your videos. I had told myself I was going to have this ready for the start of 2022. Things have happened this year. Hadn't gotten it together, even though I've had the tag list ready and ready to go since last year. It just hasn't happened, guys, but I've got a little bit of time now, so I'm going to try to put it together quick. Real quick on the format. Last year, a lot of you guys, I did 21 questions for 2021. Well, a lot of you guys, even the ones of you who did videos, were kind of saying that was like a little too many, a little bit too much of an undertaking, even though you did it anyway. I appreciate you. A theme that I was going to try to go with was 20 for 20, 21 for 21, 22 for 22. Okay, so I'm going to do 22 for 22 this year, and then next year, to maybe get more participants, maybe more of you going, maybe some quicker videos, I'm going to do 10 a year after that. So bear with me, guys. We're going to do 22 questions this year. Going to bang through them really quickly. Hope you guys participate. Please do. I cannot wait to see your responses. All that I ask is that you please either A, let me know in the comments of this video that you did a video so I can check it out, or B, just tag it. Tunes Tag 2022. Simple enough, and because that way I can feature you on the channel, and that would be just great for me. So anyway, without further ado, I know you guys have got shit to do. Cheers to all of you on this Friday afternoon. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Please try not to overthink any of these. Let's just have fun with it. Your favorite jazz find of 2021. Well, for me, that was pretty simple, even though it was a great year for me. The magnificent Thad Jones. Blue Note, 1527. Original mono pressing, Splat Owl. You guys know how I wagon wheel. I absolutely love it. Been after it for years. It was like the tippy top of my want list forever, and now it's mine. And I could not be more thankful for that. So let's keep it moving. Next up was your favorite reissue released in 2021. Well, one that I really enjoyed that come out in 2021 is arguably my favorite Tone Poet release so far was Andrew Hill's Passing Ships. Really enjoyed that one. 2 LP, 3 sides. You know, the second side of disc 2 is vacant, of course, but really enjoyed this one. You know, Joe Farrell, Woody Shaw, Dizzy Reese, Julian Priester, Bob Northern, Howard Johnson, Ron Carter, Lenny White. It is a phenomenal session. The Tone Poet series, I think, has really brought a lot of fans to the late great Andrew Hill, and I hope they keep it up. Love it. If you guys haven't gotten that one, I think it's still available if I'm not mistaken. Question 3, favorite new jazz release of 2021. Well, technically this is a new release. Love Supreme live in Seattle, John Coltrane. Absolutely loved it. Anytime you can get some new music by an immortal jazz artist into your life. I mean, and last year was a good year for it. We got this one from Coltrane. We got the Art Blakey. Was the Monk Palo Alto, was that 2020 or 2021? I'm not positive. Feel free to answer that in the comments. Feel free to correct me, whatever. But I love Supreme live in Seattle, John Coltrane. Really well done in my honest opinion. Very happy. I enjoyed it so much better than I did Blue World or New Directions was solid, but I really thoroughly enjoyed this one. Any more new Coltrane music, guys, keep it coming. We can't get enough. Next up, a saxophone-led jazz session. Well, I'm going to make this one also my newest find, and that is Pharaoh Sanders. It's either Thimby or Timby. I'm not sure, I'm not positive how you pronounce it. Again, please feel free to correct me without any douchery. Correct me, sans douchery, we're Gucci. That's all I ask for. I absolutely love this session. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's an original stereo pressing, of course. It's got Cecil McBee's on it. Roy Haynes is on it for a little spell. Lonnie Liston Smith's on it. It's an absolutely phenomenal album, a wonderful session. Just added it to my collection. Could not be happier. Trumpet-led jazz session for question number 5. It's a really recent find of mine. It's The Thing to Do by Blue Mitchell. It's original stereo pressing. splat out. Original stereo pressing on Blue Note. Phenomenal. Junior Cook, Chick Corea, Gene Taylor, Aloysius Foster. Guys, it is a serious smoker of a record, and I'm flat out freaking thrilled to have it. It just went on the table for the first time a few hours ago, and man, it sounds even better than it looks, if that's even possible. Very, very happy to have it. Next up's a guitar-led jazz session, and I wanted to go obscure. I wanted to go something maybe you guys didn't know so much about, but really wanted to kind of put this together kind of quickly while I had a minute. So I kind of just went to might be my favorite guitar-led jazz record of all time, and that's Grant Green's Idle Moments. Once again, splat out. I could not love this record any more, I don't think. Joe Henderson, Bobby Hutcherson, Duke Pearson, Bob Cranshaw, Al Harrowwood. And once again, original mono pressing splat out. I used to have a stereo and a mono at the same time. Stereo was so clean you could eat off of, but that one's mono. So next up, question number 7 is a piano-led jazz session. It's one that I was lucky enough to add to my collection last year. It's Today and Tomorrow by the man, the myth, the legend, McCoy Tyner. Guys, I love this record. Arguably his best work on Impulse. Very, very quite possibly. It's one of my 2 favorites, of course. And I just flat out love it, and everybody should have it, I think. I mean, if you have it in your means, if you get a chance, if it's in front of you, if you find it in the bins, you got to, guys. You just got to. Next up, an organ-led jazz session. I went with one maybe not quite as obvious. There's plenty of obvious ones. I could have went with a Jimmy Smith record, a Shirley Scott record. I could have went more obvious. I decided not to. Decided to go with Understanding John Patton with Harold Alexander and Hugh Walker. It's one that I got last year. I mean, it's one of the cleanest original pressings I've ever gotten in my life. It's a preview copy. Splat out, stereo pressing, and once again, I mean, I just freaking love the record. It's underrated, in my opinion, in John Patton's catalog, but again, if you see it, time to jump on it. It can be found for very affordable, believe it or not. Next up, a trombone-led jazz session, which is probably going to be hard for a lot of you guys because there are very few trombone-led sessions in the history of jazz music. Honestly, very few, not many at all. I decided to go with one that for me was the rarest one. It's one that's super cool for me because it features my favorite artist as a sideman. And it's the Ray Draper Quintet on New Jazz featuring John Coltrane. Again, New Jazz, splat out. I love those purple New Jazz labels. But it's not one that hits my table very often because trombone's just not something I find my ears in the mood for very often. But I don't particularly give a shit in this instance. It's my favorite artist of all time as a sideman. I love nothing more than to own every album Train ever played on. And so this was just added to the list, and it's a great session. Don't get it twisted. Hard to find. Just my ears just aren't in the mood for trombone as much. I'm a saxophone and trumpet guy when it comes to the horns. But if you see it, you guys know what to do. Next up, a jazz funk record. I decided to go with one by one of my favorite, just slept on, just wonderful artists. I just love him so much. It's Astral Traveling by Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes. Love it. It's on Flying Dutchman Records, of course. This is an original stereo pressing. This was autographed to a close personal friend of mine that gives me so many of my records. They're personal friends. They know each other. And my buddy decided to pass it along to me. He went and got himself another autographed copy. Would it be cooler if this was personalized to me? Absolutely, but it's still an autographed record by an immortal jazz legend, and it is freaking phenomenal, and it's, in my opinion, a must-have. And Lonnie Liston Smith's catalog, for the most part, can be found for really cheap, guys. Lonnie Liston Smith, immortal jazz legend, still with us. Get it into your life. Next up, I'm going back-to-back on the Lonnie Liston Smith, guys. Trying to find where I'm at. It's a jazz fusion record. Yeah, jazz fusion record. I consider this a jazz fusion record. I showed it to you guys not too long ago on my channel. It's the same artist, Lonnie Liston Smith, Cosmic Echoes, Expansion. I consider this to be a great jazz fusion record, and it is an original steel-sealed copy I scored not too long ago at Noble Records. It is now one of 2 copies that I have of this album. The other one is signed by the man, the myth, and the legend, right around here. Lonnie Liston Smith in like gray, like Sharpie or pen or whatever, but by the man himself. But I decided I could not pass on a sealed copy. 2022 so far has been a great year for me for sealed for sealed original jazz releases. It just has. Next up is an underappreciated album by an artist you love. For me, everybody loves Joe Henderson's Blue Note stuff. Everybody's familiar, everybody knows it, everybody loves it, everybody wants it, everybody's drawing the prices up in the market. Let's call it what it is. For me, I've started to dip really hard into Joe Henderson's Milestone session. So for this one, I decided to go with the Joe Henderson Quartet, Tetragon. I think I added this to my collection last year. It was either last year or the year before. So either 2020 or 2021. But Don Friedman, Kenny Barron, Jack DeJohnette, Louis Hayes, and Ron Carter. Guys, if you see it, time to jump on it. Got to get it in your life. You know where this is going from here. Next up is a live jazz album. And one is a recent acquisition of mine. You guys, if you've been keeping up with my videos, have already seen me show it. I did an unboxing for it. Clifford Jordan Quartet, Night of the Mark 7. Clifford Jordan, Cedar Walton, Sam Jones, and Billy Higgins. Mid-70s jazz mastery. Wonderful stuff on Muse Records. Bam, splat out. I absolutely freaking love it. Post Clifford Jordan, this is one of three that I absolutely just have to have. This one, Glass B Games, Clifford Jordan in the World. I've got this one crossed off. Now I got to cross off the other two. Anybody who can help me, holla at your boy. Next up is a supergroup album, what I would consider a supergroup album for jazz. And for me, I decided to go with the following, if nothing else, because it features, my favorite all-time jazz artist. But I think it's technically filed under Wilbur Hardin's discography. But it's Togenica Strut. It's Wilbur Hardin, John Coltrane, Curtis Fuller, Tommy Flanagan, Howard Williams, Ollie Jackson, and Art Taylor. Absolutely phenomenal. This is an original mono pressing on Sad Boys. And absolutely phenomenal. Very hard to find. Absolutely hard to find. This is the only copy I've ever seen in person. I'm sure plenty of you guys who are going to do this tag probably have yourself a copy, but we're among the rare ones, aren't we, guys? Next up. Let me see where I'm at. All right. Your favorite artist record as a sideman. So it's just it's an album that your favorite jazz artist played on as a sideman. I decided to go with the Cats. Tommy Flanagan, John Coltrane, Kenny Burrell, and Idris Sullivan. You guys already know who my favorite jazz artist is of all time. It is the man, the myth, the legend, John Coltrane. New jazz, splat out. I absolutely love this release. I've loved getting people into it. I've done a couple of videos talking about it before, and I've directly convinced a lot of people that I know to buy it straight up. And I will continue to do so. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's a wonderful record, great session, and it's jazz history. In my opinion, man, what a lineup. Next up, jazz album more people should know about. For me, this one's obvious because every time I talk to some friends of mine that are very astute jazz minds that really know some shit about jazz music. Now, I mean, obviously you've got, those guys, and then you've got the connoisseurs, the guys that know everything. You can't throw anything by them. I don't know where I would rank myself, but for this one in particular, it's one that I was after for years. My boy Jason, the Jazz Basement, tracked it down for me at HR Records in DC. Thank you, Jason. If you're watching this, cheers to you, my friend. But it's Nathan Davis Makatuka on Segway Records. Absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend it to anybody with ears. It is absolutely smoking. It's pretty hard to find. It's not one you're likely to come up on the bins, but just trust me, it's worthwhile. It's definitely worth sorting out in this world, and I hope a lot of you guys watch this video. Even if you don't know about it, stream it, and if you like it, go find yourself a copy. I mean, isn't the hunt so much of the fun? It is for me. Always has been. Where are we at now? Album by a jazz artist that should have been bigger, question number 17. I'm going to go with this one because I just like the influence of everything. And obviously, when I mention the artist's name, it's one well-renowned and well-respected within the jazz world. It's not going to be anybody I'm going to mention that you guys don't know a whole lot about, obviously. But I'm going to go with We Insist, Max Roach's Freedom Now Suite. It's an original stereo pressing on Candid. Guys, it features Abby Lincoln on vocals, Coleman Hawkins, and Olatunji. And it is an absolutely phenomenal record. Great civil rights significance. Released in 1960, if I'm not mistaken, and I just love it. Abby Lincoln, I think, sings vocals, I think, on every track but like one, I think, and I just love Abby Lincoln. Also, very prominent civil rights figure. This is just a significantly time period appropriate, important release, in my opinion. It was just released, I think, on like white vinyl or something like that for Record Store Day 2022. And I know that when it came out, I was talking to so many people that I know about how they should grab this, and hardly any of them knew anything about it. But I think a lot of people went ahead and took my recommendation and added it to their list and grabbed it anyway. So for all of those of you who did it, I hope you spun it and I hope you enjoy it. But this is a significantly appropriate album, and not to mention it's pretty damn good. Really good. And I added this to the collection recently, within the last few months. Next up, a vocal jazz album. We're going to be rolling with Abby Lincoln once again, since we just talked about her. This is an original mono pressing on Riverside. It's Magic by Abby Lincoln. Gorgeous. Gorgeous inside out. Beautiful voice. Wonderful voice. I don't listen to much vocal jazz, guys, but when I find myself doing it, oftentimes it's Abby Lincoln. Put it to you this way. Even my wife, who just doesn't get jazz, likes this record. She loves it when I put it on. She usually requests that I turn it up. So, great stuff. I love Abby Lincoln. She's wonderful. Next up, a jazz album not many talk about, but you love. Okay, this is one that I had never even heard about until a buddy of mine scooped it up for me. It's the fantastic Frank Strozier. Frank Strozier on alto, Booker Little trumpet, Paul Chambers bass, Wynton Kelly piano, Jimmy Cobb drums. How could you not want to get it into your life with that lineup, guys? What? Super sick. My buddy Marcus found it at me at a local record store in either Richmond or DC. I can't remember which one, but he just found it, asked me did I want it, and I told him, I said, I don't know who Frank Strozier is, but I love the rest of that lineup. How much do I owe you? PayPal'd him the money. He sent the record to me. The rest is history. I freaking love this session. It is a wonderful album. Frank Strozier went on to lead a few more sessions, and they're also great, but this is his best. If you see it, time to jump on. Number 20, a record you hope to find in 2022. For me, that's always so many, guys. I always have an endless list, honestly, of records that I want that I'd love to find. Obviously, there's still plenty of original Blue Notes I'd love to have. Some of the Dizzy Reese stuff. There's a lot of, like damn near unattainable stuff I'd love to have. But let me go a little simpler for you guys. Some stuff that I feel very confident that I can cross off my list in 2022, and you guys could too. I'm going to go with Joe Henderson's Milestone records we're rating that I don't have yet. Joe Henderson in Japan being basically the main one. I'd love to get the Elements, Joe Henderson and Alice Coltrane. I'd love to get an original pressing of that. I got the Jazz Dispensary reissue. I'd love to get an original of that. I'd love to add some more Ornette Coleman to my collection this year. Change of the Century, some of the Atlantic stuff. I'd love to do some of the later stuff post-Atlantic, some of the live sessions, a couple of the ones he did on Impulse. I'd love to add some of that stuff. Again, more attainable stuff, easier to find. And Pharaoh Sanders. I'm really on a Pharaoh Sanders kick right now. I'd love to get some of the non-original. I'd love to upgrade to original. But in terms of stuff that I don't have at all, Black Unity, very high on my list. I'm not far from making eBay purchase number 2. I got a couple of them saved, whatever. I'm just thinking about it. It's probably not going to be thought about very long. Black Unity, one I would really love to add. So I figured I'd throw you guys. I could have went and threw you guys a bunch of $1,000 records. I decided not to. That's where I'm at. I love to add. I'd love to cross so many of those off the list this year. That would be great. Next up, a new release or reissue you're looking forward to in 2022. For me, just keeping up with the Tone Poet stuff. Grant Green's Feeling the Spirit. It's coming out on Tone Poet later this year. And even though I've got an original, I'd still love to add that. I'd love to keep the Black Jazz reissues. They keep coming out. I'd love to keep up with those. Art Blakey's RSD 2022 release got pushed back to June 18th. That was one that I was bummed I didn't find in the bins on RSD. but I'm going to make that pilgrimage out on June 18th to go ahead and add that to the collection. Really looking forward to that. And I mean, hell, guys, it's a great time to be a jazz vinyl collector. It just is. The reissues are coming. They're great. They're quality. They're consistent. Just keep it coming, guys. We love it. I know I do. It's a great time to be a damn jazz fan. And finally, the last question, number 22 of the 2022 Tunes Vinyl Tag. I've been going through this as fast as I can, guys. Let's wrap it up. Your house is on fire. You have time to save one jazz record. Which one do you save? Now, in theory, I've kind of always hated the question, if I'm being honest, because it's like, if your house is on fire, the last thing you should be worried about are records. I'm going to get my family out of the house, my wife and my daughter, and my animals, if I can, my dog and my 2 cats. And yeah, I'm kind of going to let the rest burn. But in theory, if I had time to grab one, this is in theory. This is why it's a fun theoretical. I decided to stop looking at it so practical and just look at it as a theoretical. You guys already know where I'm going. It's John Coltrane's Blue Train, Blue Note 1577, OG Mono, Splat Out. Guys, it's Coltrane and Morgan and Fuller and Kenny Drew and Paul Chambers and Philly Joe Jones on the same damn record. I mean, it really just, as a jazz fan, does it really get any better? I don't think so. At least it doesn't for these ears. All right, guys, that's the 2022 Tunes Vinyl Tag, Jazz Vinyl Tag 2022. Once again, I hope you guys participate. I hope you do a video. If you do, again, please either comment under this video and let me know that you did one, or tag it, Tunes Tag 2022. That way I can find it, showcase you guys here on my channel. And I'd love to do it. I look forward to seeing everything you guys come up with. And even if nobody does it, I'm still going to come back with another one like DJ Khaled next year in 2023. I'm going to keep it moving, you guys. Every year from now on, this is my promise to you guys. Stick with me this year. Do these 22 questions. Every year from now on, 10 questions. 10. That's it. I promise. I swear. 10. But I'd already made this list, and a few friends of mine had already did the video, so I wasn't going to whittle it down and screw up their efforts. So, all right, guys, let's see what you come up with. This is going to be freaking fun. I'm going to love it. It's the weekend. Find yourself some time, bang these questions out real quick, revisit some records in your collection. Let's have a fucking good time with this shit. So, until next time, until next video, cheers to all of you guys. Have fun with this.